Richard Kind, welcome to Bullseye. I am so happy to have you here. It's so nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you again.
Indeed. We've seen each other before.
Quite
I've
a
seen
few
you ride
times.
a bicycle.
Well, that's nothing unusual. I can ride a bicycle. But yes, I know. I rode up, as you mentioned earlier, I rode up to Lincoln Center. You were so thrilled. But I used to ride my bike all over New York, all over.
We had a show in New York City, the Judge John Hodgman show. We had a show at Lincoln Center in New York City. You were kind enough to appear as a guest.
Right.
But we had just texted you that day or the day before to ask if you could come by. It was not carefully planned, and we weren't sure if you were going to be able to make the time. You're an in-demand performer.
No, it's John asked me, and I can't believe. I think I must have said yes. And did I ride up in shorts and sneakers and a shirt?
And you were wobbling a little bit on the city bike, I think.
That's not true.
You were going slowly. You were on the sidewalk.
Okay.
It was the last bit of your approach. I'm not saying that at all times.
Yeah, because when you're on the sidewalk, you got to be careful of the people, and you got to find the parking. You know what you don't know where the parking stuff is. But no, I know exactly where the parking stuff is. It's right across from the hotel. No, I was not wobbly.
Okay, I apologize.
Yes, that's okay. When I walk, I wobble.
But no,
when I'm riding a bike, I'm very, very smooth.
Okay. Anyway, seeing you approach and knowing that you were going to be on the show was just an absolute joy for me.
Thank you.
I was very happy to have you there.
Thank you.
You have this job right now as the announcer on John Mulaney's television program.
Yep.
You know, you had done some things with Mulaney before.
Quite a few things, yeah.
You had been a couple of times on Oh Hello on Broadway, I think.
I actually opened Oh Hello off Broadway and got a rave review in the Times.
Really?
Yes.
What did they say?
Richard Kind was, the guest with the tuna fish, whatever. I don't know what they said.
Right.
However, you would figure with such good reviews, they'd carry you to Broadway. They did not. They used Alan Alda.
Oh, well.
Well, what?
I mean,
I was a proven commodity.
But that's central to the...
Of course it is.
Alan Alda is central to their mythos.
Yes, I was thrilled, and I think it's great. I'm kidding.
But
I did do it on Broadway, too.
The thing from Oh Hello that I think about the most and have not stopped thinking about since... I think it was in one of their web videos or something.
Right.
Is when they say, on a scale of 1 to Alan Alda, he's an Elliot Gould.
I
think you could be on that scale. You could be somewhere on that scale, Richard.
Every time I'm on the show and I have to do these promos or I have to improvise, and I used to be a good improviser. I was never great, but I was good, enough to work at Second City and stuff like that. And I'm a good actor. And I always say, by the way, I tend to go in different strands, so please remember where I'm going because I'll forget. But I think in order to be a good improviser, you must be a good actor. But in order to be a good actor, you don't have to know how to improvise. But I'm a good actor, and I can improvise. I can react, stuff like that. As I've gotten older, my vocabulary is not as good. I'm going, oh, what's that word? And when you have a joke that's so perfect and you know the perfect word that belongs in that joke and you forget it. And that's what has happened with my improvisational skills. John is simply magnificent. Okay, his mind is great. His sense of humor is great. His observations are great. And he's really a good improviser. A comic improviser too, and I just keep going. Why aren't I Nick Kroll? Why aren't I Nick Kroll? And that's he is so good with this perfect Oliver Hardy, Laurel, whatever, this perfect pairing, this peanut butter and jelly of comics, of comic minds. And of comic vocabulary. Their choice of the right words is so good. I'm good. I'm fine.
I think there is something to be said for the role that you play on the show,
Absolutely.
which is Mulaney is very brilliant, one of the most brilliant comedy minds out there.
Absolutely.
If I was going to say what is a challenge for Mulaney as a performer, it's that he could read as distant. And
I ground him.
And you ground him, and I think that
I like that. I like that. I don't know whether I agree, but I like it. If it's true.
I sometimes think that he probably enjoys your act of being, shambolic, because it complements his act of maybe being a little bit too tight. You know what I mean?
Okay. I agree with that, but I'll tell you this. Like well, the other night we rehearsed the bit with Pete. Did you see the show the other night with Peter Gallagher?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's very funny. Peter Gallagher comes back as the John Mulaney from the future.
Mhm.
Okay, he's not Peter Gallagher, he's John Mulaney.
Right.
From the year 2055.
You're asking me too much. I can't recall conversations that I wasn't present for.
That's fair and true. It's not like my memory was going to get better with age, especially with all the cocaine we did in our 20s and 30s.
And our 50s.
Now, it was just 20s and 30s. And on the floor, John said, add this and go on to this. So John stops and Peter goes, and our 50. When he did that, the world became a better place. It is as perfect a joke as I'm thinking from Jack Benny. It just was perfect.
Okay, let's stop talking about how great Mulaney is, because I'm here to talk about you and how great you are.
Yeah, but I want to be that. And I just marvel at him. Okay, talk about me, please. Enough.
When you were a child, did you think you were going to become an actor?
No. I dreamt of becoming an actor, but I never thought I would be an actor.
Did you think you were going to have a practical job?
I can name the practical job. My dad's store. He had a jewelry store in Princeton. That's what I was raised to do, and I could figure that I could do that. My dad was a really good salesman in a very classy way. He taught me to be. He was a very truly. I've talked about this before. A very classy store. His competition being New York jewelers, including Tiffany and Cartier.
Because Princeton is a very affluent place.
That's a good word. I was going to say wealthy, but of course, affluent is a better word. It's more descriptive. It was a very affluent place and is only 50 minutes, let's say, from New York. So they could either go to their local jeweler who they trusted and loved and was a huge plus for their community because it was really classy, or they could go to New York, but support your local vendor. And they did.
And your dad was a merchant, not a tradesman, right? He was
That is
not
correct.
actually a jeweler himself.
That's correct. He although he was quite learned in jewelry, he could look at any stone and this is what it is, and determine its quality. But that's exactly right. He was not like in the garment district. You have schmata, a schmata salesman. On 46th to 47th, you have the Hasidic Jews who were going around with briefcases filled with diamonds. My dad was not that. My dad owned a beautiful, classy, only one store shop on Nassau Street in Princeton.
Did your dad want that for you?
Yes. His grandparents had a very nice store in Trenton. My dad wanted to separate himself from his parents and so opened a store in Princeton in 1956. And you could say, oh, wasn't he, couldn't he see the future? What is it? He was prescient to know that Trenton was going to go under, but who knew? It was 10 years, 15 years later that Trenton made a downturn and was not as affluent as it once was. And Princeton remained. But it was like Newark and Elizabeth and Princeton and Trenton were huge and beautiful neighborhoods, and now they're not. And did he see the future? No, he just wanted to escape his parents, so he opened in Princeton.
Did your family live there in Princeton?
No, we lived in Yardley, Pennsylvania. Raised for a few years in Trenton, and then right across the river is Bucks County, Pennsylvania. A very nice and great area. So we moved from Trenton to Pennsylvania. And it's only 20 minutes from Princeton.
You could have had a career doing what your father did.
Yes.
You could have taken over your father's store.
Might have even been happy.
Yeah, so that's my question. Did you want that for yourself?
Sure. Absolutely. It was secure money. It was the stability of a job. My dad used to say, nobody buys jewels for a bad occasion. He's right. There's never a sad time it was beautiful things, and I was raised to have classy, not big old honking stones that are gaudy. These were really fine pieces of jewelry. That's what I was raised to sell, and I opted not to. I opted to become an actor. I opted to try becoming an actor. And for a very liberal man, I'm very conservative. I don't like change that much. I still have the same agent, certainly the same manager that I've had for decades. They say you should change your agent every time you buy new underwear. I don't. I have the same agent. I'm fine. I don't like that change. I'm not a hoarder, but every time I'm going to throw something out, I go, what do I want it to really? This is part of who I am. So in any case, I just didn't quit acting. I just kept going.
Tell me when you made the choice to give acting a real try.
Sunday afternoon in January, I believe I was at Northwestern, I was still at Northwestern, home, and I was watching football with my dad and our neighbor, Steve Holzman, who was a great man, who was my dad's best friend. And he gave me the advice that try acting before you go to law school, because when you're 40, if you didn't give it a shot, you will resent your wife and your children. You will look back and say, what could have been, the road not taken. So I said, okay. And I did. I tried it for a year, and 1 year turned into 2, into 3. And like I say, I'm shockingly conservative with change. And I just kept on. And I'm telling you, all of a sudden, 1 year turned into 45.
Did you know that you were a funny character actor, and thus your career really would start when you were 31 years old?
Another interesting story, I think. There was a teacher at Northwestern, a wonderful playwright and a brilliant, brilliant director named Frank Galati, who was an advisor at Steppenwolf. He was a director at Steppenwolf. He was a teacher at Northwestern. A great man, great. I went in and I spoke to him, and I said, my dad wants me to be, go into jewelry and into the store and everything, and I want to be an actor. He said, well, why don't you be a producer so that you got business? And I said, no, you don't understand. I either want to be an actor or I want to go be rich and be like, with a store and everything like that. And he goes, well, you're not going to really be successful till you're around 33, 34, because Hollywood isn't looking for what you are right now. But you will. And so I did do my time in New York. I wasn't that good an actor. I was good in my high school plays because I was good.
Right.
But I wasn't that good. My heroes were Robert Preston and Zero Mostel, so oversized actors. And my grandmother, she used to go, I heard every word. You were the only one I heard. And I used to think volume was great acting. So that's, if you want to know why I'm so loud, it's because of that. And I do know how to use my diaphragm when I speak, so I can be loud. And I said, okay, so 4 years of, taking classes in New York, working. Then I went on the road. And then I went to Chicago to do practical theater, which was the company in Chicago that was an adjunct, wasn't associated, but it was next door to Second City. And then they saw me in Second City and they asked me to be in Second City. And all of a sudden, I'm 32. I've put in my time. Okay. The road was taken up. Usually people leave around 26, 27. They, especially college graduates, they realize they're smarter than these successful people. They got a chip on their shoulder. They say, why aren't I acting? And they realize I want 2 kids in a house and I'm not going to get it this way. I'm waiting tables and starving. So they become producers. They become showrunners. They become agents or managers. I was on stage. I didn't even have the time to think, what else could I do? And then I went out to LA and I got work. And then about 10 years of all of that, and I worked because I was okay. I'm okay. And I pulled the wool over their eyes. And then through work on camera, especially on single camera, I became an actor. I found out that acting was there was a reality to it, and that I used to present all the words. I'd present the characters. I'd wear every emotion on my sleeve. Then and that's so interesting because at Northwestern, I was taught by some very good teachers because I took electives, even though I was a pre-law major. I took classes, and I saw what do you call it? Playing levels, playing different wants, and in classes in New York, learning about that and learning why Chekhov was so good, because a person would be one way, but underneath he's harboring something else. These are things that were not easily understood by me until I started acting on single camera and started being an actor. Acting, okay. I really wasn't very good, and I became good. I really did. I'm going to tell you something, and I don't bring him up. A good friend of mine, George Clooney, and everybody loves to hear their stories. I believe he was the same way. He through a lot of work, a lot of hard work, he became a great actor. He'll admit that he was not that good. He became great. He still doesn't think he's great, but he's great. He's a great actor.
Did you know his pig? He had a pig, right?
Sure, Max.
Tell me about this pig. I'm not interested in hearing more about George Clooney as an artist or performer. I'm just so happy to know that he had a pig for a long time.
He did, and I'm going to tell you, at the end, good eating.
No. Yeah.
Max was a great pig given to him as a birthday gift by a girlfriend. He loved Max. He really, really loved Max, and Max would sleep at the foot of his bed, and it was great. He'd hop up on the couch while we're watching football, and his skin was dry, so you could draw, write things in his skin, and he was great. And it was sad when he passed. He was a pet. What am I going to say about a pig? A man and his pig.
It makes me happy.
Good.
I love thinking about a pig in a house.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah, it was great.
When you started at Second City, were you an improviser?
No, not at all. Not at all. Never improvised.
How did you get cast?
I will tell you. This is why we're interviewing me. I went and did a show that was formed out of improvisation, of which it was called Mega Fun. We had about 8 people in the cast. We would meet every night for about 2 months and improvise, blah, blah, blah. But any idiot can become good. Was I great? I was never great, but I was always pretty good. And then I became the big mocker there. I was the big, I was the go-to guy. Everybody knew who I was. After so many years of being there, I was the big guy on the thing. Now, many people were very upset at Second City that I didn't tour, because they had a touring company, which is how you cut your teeth. Then they had a space in the back, called the ETC company. I didn't do that. I went right to main stage, and there were people who had been there for a couple of years and were still not on main stage. Why did I get to go? I'm not in everything. Okay, if I'm doing a film, maybe I work 3 days tops. Only Murders in the Building. I blah blah blah. So many. It's an hour. It's a half hour. I'm going to be in 2 minutes of it, but I want my 2 minutes to be so good that you remember me in the scene. That is my goal. And if you're playing tennis with a better player, you might have a game where you can play better than he does, and that's what I want to do.
You have an IMDb page with 300 credits on it. I'm not going to go through your IMDb, but I do want to talk briefly about Clifford.
Okay.
Clifford is a film that folks may or may not remember, in which Martin Short adult Martin Short played a child.
A 10-year-old boy.
By essentially wearing shoes on his knees. I mean, a little bit more than that. but essentially by wearing shoes on his knees. The character is one of the most intense and abrasive central characters in a comedy that I've ever seen in
It's
my
the bad
life.
seed. It's the bad seed funny.
Yeah, it is madness, that movie. I really like it. My friend Tom Sharpling, it's his favorite film, and he one day told me, you should actually watch it.
Have you ever seen it with an audience?
I haven't.
I encourage you to seek it out and watch it with an audience.
Did you know what you were signing up for is my question.
Oh, no. Marty has been very kind to me my whole career. He's really a good man. He likes me, and he, I think, was responsible for me playing the father. Not a very funny role. I was, I was not, to say a straight man. I was a foil. Okay, do you remember who Edgar Kennedy is?
No.
Do you remember the Marx Brothers scene where Chico is, where they're at the popcorn stand and they burn? I think it's a Day at the Races, and just Edgar Kennedy just goes like that. That's
Yeah.
all he does is he slaps his face like that. These guys are wreaking havoc on him. That's who I was, and I did it well. In any case, Clifford was a movie at an early age in my career. So did I know what? I can't read. I read a script and I don't know really what the tenor of the movie is or what the tone will be. And if you ask me, it's a terrible movie. It's terrible. But over time, the anarchy of it was by design. And I appreciate it. But when I saw it with an audience,
Well, you did it, didn't you? You did it again, didn't you? You're banned from the flight. No. They're not going to allow you back on the plane, which means that I'm going to miss the convention tomorrow, which means that I'm going to lose thousands of dollars in speaker's fees. Do you understand me? Do you understand what... Where did you get that Walkman? Did you steal it? No. Oh, my God! Is there no end to your madness?
No, a cardio priest gave it to me, Doc.
You're lying.
No.
You're lying to your own father's face. I have a good mind to leave you right here, you little animal.
What a terrible thing to say to such a sweet child.
It's madness. It's sort of a trial, too. Like, it's so intense.
it's so intense. Oh, well, thanks to me, but really, Chuck Groten. Marty is relentless too as a person. During that movie, I've told the story before. I'm sitting in an airplane seat and he has to climb over me to go to the bathroom. And of course he steps on my crotch and he's going, and I'm going, Clifford, like that. And every time he would pass by into my ear so that the microphone didn't pick it up, but I'll do it here. He went like that, just in my ear, very softly, just a little noise. And it would make me laugh. The sound, the vibration, because he was so close. And I would break, and I can't break because I'm so angry. And take after take, and I mean take after take. He was relentless. The director begged him, Marty, please, let's just get one. He would not do it. He was really, and we brought it up before, and he just laughs because he knows how mean and funny he can be. Oh, it was killing me. But I encouraged the movie with an audience. But it's a good movie on its own. It's fine.
You're touring the nation and world with your own solo performance.
That's not the right word.
Okay. Now, my understanding is you're playing Mark Twain. Is that correct?
Mark Twain as done by Paul Robeson.
Uh-huh.
No, it's I don't want to go do those Comic-Con things yet.
Right.
You know, the signing the autographs, because then you're only you're asking people money because of your fame.
Right.
Now, I know they're happy to meet and everything, and I'm not going to deny them or disparage what they like. But I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be a part of it. But my career has been really interesting, and I got stories that come out of it, or I know stories. I hang around with other actors in the makeup room, and while you're waiting for the lighting to be set up, and you swap stories. So there are stories I remember, or stories I hope that some of these things were interesting. Dear God, I got plenty more. How many things out of 300 have we talked about? I got plenty of stories. So I wanted to tour with a program called How Not to Be a Star. Okay? Because I'm not a star. I am a supporting actor. It's what I love being. I think a New Yorker called me a second banana for John. I'm not a second banana. I'm a supporting actor, supporting character. That's what I do. Okay. So we start out with the clip reel of that sort of shows, so you don't have to go on the IMDb page. We have a moderator who asks me questions. What he really is the string of a lawnmower, which goes rum, 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 and I just start talking, and I just tell these stories like I've done here. You said, Richard, and I didn't need you here. You could have gone out and got a cup of coffee. I can keep talking.
I did. Did you not notice?
Really?
You missed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait till you hear about me. Okay. Then after 50 minutes of that, I'll read a short story written by Simon Rich, which we did in a Broadway play called All In, which was me, John Mulaney, Fred Armisen. It was Renee Elise Goldsberry, and then Chloe Feynman took over for her.
Simon Rich, one of the funniest people in the world.
In the world.
Brilliant,
And it's a
kind,
very
lovely man as well.
And yes. So we read that short story, and then I do a question and answer a la Carol Burnett, just walking the front of the stage, having a conversation with the audience, coming back, maybe being funny that way. I like to think it goes quickly. I have heard from audiences who have seen many of those things. It's really good. I think it is too. That's my goal here, is to entertain. So that's what it's a seminar and funny stories, and maybe you learn something.
Am I invited? It sounds like a great time.
Always.
Great.
Oh, if you got the $40, absolutely. Of course. Of course you are. Yeah, I'm doing it in various cities. I'm doing it in Atlanta. I'm doing it in Tacoma, Washington, San Francisco, in Bergen, New Jersey. Yeah, I got a couple, and they're good.
You have come to a point in your career where people are sitting across small tables from you and telling you how wonderful you are. I'm one of those people. I think you're the best, Richard. How does that feel? Do you want every time to say, I'm lucky? Or are you able to process it and accept it?
I still think I'm pulling the wool over people's eyes. As I told Terry Gross, it's bottomless. I need to be told, and yet I don't believe it all. I worry that there's a role that's going to come that I can't do. I love it. That word process. You're right. A wall goes up a little bit. But I do love it. I want to love it so that my kids can hear it from other people. And yet, when they do hear that, I think they're going, all right, enough, Dad, enough about you. And yet, I'm an actor. I do think I'm selfish that way. How do I feel about it? I don't know. I guess so. I guess so. I don't know. I like being admired. I like being loved. But yeah, okay, enough. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Love seems strong. I would say like a fondness is what I feel. Like a
I
strong fondness.
Yeah, and you want to know something? People do tell me, oh, I hear you're the kindest man in showbiz. I hear you're so nice. I'm pulling the wool over their eyes, not as much, but I think I'm a good guy.
Is it possible that you're the good kind of salesman?
Yeah.
That you are leaving everyone better off?
I like to think that. Even if I'm doing a role where you don't like me, as in you don't like my character, I'm entertaining and I've enhanced your life. Absolutely. Yeah, especially with comedy. My gosh. Boy, I can see this clip. This is like this, but it is what it is. I have enhanced your life. That makes me feel really, really good. Flip side of that, which I feel guilty about. Somebody will stop me on the street. I was in the hospital. We watched you on you brought me such joy. And I go, oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much. And inside, my guilt is going, I didn't do it for you. I did it because it was my job and I like doing it. So there's that flip side too.
Well, Richard, I'm sure grateful for your time, and it's always really nice to see you. I hope I'll see you again.
I hope so, especially with John. Hodgman. Hodgman, you're mentioned. Hodgman.